What an asshole!
Podcasting from Bass Hole Studios in Hollywood, California.
Yo, what time is it?
You're listening to I'm a Basshole with Doug Bass. We've all been one.
He's an asshole.
So let's laugh about it. Now, here's your host, Doug Bass.
Hey, what's up, Bassholes? Welcome to I'm a Basshole. I'm your host, Doug Bass. Make sure you follow us on all the platforms like we tell you all the time. You'd be doing us a lot of favors if you subscribe, rate, review the podcast, check it out on YouTube, all that stuff. We got a really fun episode today. I'm excited to have our guest on the show. It's a comedian, Billie Lee. You know her from Vanderpump Rules. You know her from her comedy. We're going to jump right in because I'm excited to have her here. Let's go. It's Billie Lee in the studio today. Billie, how are you?
I'm good. I'm really good.
Yeah.
Things are crazy busy, but...
Crazy busy? Well, that's always good to be busy.
Yeah, I'm thankful.
Yeah. So you just did a couple of comedy shows in Vegas, I saw, at Jimmy Kimmel's Club.
Yes, it was 6 shows for one weekend.
Wow.
It was so intense.
Yeah? Good
Yeah.
good crowds?
It was a good crowd, but it was like... I don't know. It was... I feel like Vegas has, you know, so many different people that come visit.
Yeah.
And I'm so used to the LA crowd
Right.
that it was definitely more challenging for me. Like there was moments where I felt like I was talking about my vagina to like my Trump supporting family in the middle of America, you know?
Right,
So
yeah.
there was
Yeah, that's got to be interesting. Like talking about that kind of material in front of like, you know, I don't know, Republicans and like different, you know, people from all over because Vegas is like a breeding ground for travelers from all over the world. So yeah.
Yeah, and I would guess we would say conservative because there are Republicans who, you know, are pro-trans, but it was definitely just, it was a learning experience for me, and it was hosting. It was the first time I hosted.
Oh, you hosted? Okay, cool.
So I hosted the 6 shows, and it was so intense for me to like.
Yeah.
I've never hosted before.
Well, hosting's like a different beast because you got to like serve the show and then like, you know, do your material up front, which is you're kind of taking the bullet for the whole show and then servicing the show and, you know, bringing everyone up and everything like that. So did you like hosting?
No.
Like,
I'm very much like stranger danger. So like I like to do my set and then get the fuck out of there, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So to like play around with the crowd and engage, and also, you know, there's moments of rejection.
Yeah.
Especially with men, like they'll feel uncomfortable or something.
Do you find that they find that they're uncomfortable like with you performing for some reason?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, really?
I mean, it's birthed some really cool jokes. Like I have this joke about how I'm sure there's some confused dicks in the audience tonight. And I got that from San Diego because it was like 80% men. Yeah. Which is, I think, a military base. And
yeah, there's a big military. Yeah. So did you have a lot of military people in the crowd? You're saying?
Yeah. When I was like walking to the place, it was like dudes were hitting on me like I was a stripper or something.
Really?
And then a lot of them were hitting on me. And then when I get up on stage, they're all like, you can see it in their eyes, like, holy shit. And then they get small and they're kind of like, you know, they're just, it's weird. It's weird to be on stage, to be of service and be there to make people laugh.
That's got to be difficult, I would assume, because you're going out there as a stand-up comedian. And then, like, you know, if certain audiences aren't accepting of you or whatever, like, is that like a challenge to kind of like, you know, you're just trying to do your material and like now you got to deal with this whole other like, you know, elephant in the room or whatnot.
Yeah, but I mean, it only happens once in a while.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's usually like a more conservative crowd. So I just, you know, I reach out to my coaches and my mentors and I'm like, how can we do this? How can I make, you know, other people feel comfortable?
Yeah.
Because I do want to go on the road and it's important for me to be able to perform in places where there are conservative people. So
yeah, of course. So like, if you've like, what's the most you've gone on the road for? Like, have you gone to like other cities like besides Vegas where it's a little bit more like conservative, like, you know, rural America or whatever?
No, I've
not yet.
But I'm going to Indianapolis. I'm doing a show in my home state on the 22nd.
Okay, and you're from the Midwest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that you haven't performed at home yet.
No.
So you're nervous? You're scared?
I mean, honestly,
Excited?
I'm excited because like a lot of my girlfriends, tons of my friends are coming from my hometown and they're driving to Indianapolis to see the show.
Yeah. So like going home, I would imagine that's exciting to kind of like go back to your home. I mean, but growing up as a kid, did you have a difficult time growing up in the Midwest, or was it like even Stevens, or like how would you describe growing up?
It was really difficult. I was bullied so bad that I missed like grade school, had childhood depression, OCD, and like I harmed myself. But I will say, like, now it's like such a beautiful, amazing life that I live. And when I go back home, I have tons of fans and support.
Yeah.
And even my best friend from like the 6th grade, we like totally fell in love. And it was like this whole like amazing love story. It's no longer a situation, but it's just so different now. But as a child, it was very dark.
Very dark. Yeah. Yeah. Did you, growing up, did you realize like that you wanted to become trans at some point, or did you have I mean, people say like you're born that way, or it's something you know early on. Did you have thoughts like that as a kid?
Well, I was always like really feminine,
Yeah.
and my parents, the shame around my trans experience was my parents, like their friends would be like, "Oh, your daughter's so cute," and they're like, "That's my son," you know, like. And even in school, everyone was like, "You're a sissy and you're a girl." And I was just really feminine. I liked really feminine things, but my parents did not understand. We didn't know the word transgender. We didn't know any of it. So I didn't really know about being trans until I moved to LA.
Right. And then it was something that was, normal, I would say. Like,
Yeah.
like people, you meet other, people that are in the same, situation as you are, and you probably have a lot in common, and you realize, wow, this is a totally normal thing, In the Midwest, maybe not so much.
Yeah. Even my first relationship, I was dating a guy, and he hated the fact that I shaved my legs and that I was like so feminine and I'd wear makeup. And he's like, I'm gay. I'm dating a dude. Why are you acting like a girl? And I'm like, so I had shame in my family. And then I went into my first relationship. And then that lasted like 2 years. And then I ended that, and then I moved away.
Got it. Now, do you date like certain, like specifically men or women, or like?
I date straight men.
Straight men. Okay. All right. Got it.
Yeah.
How is that? Are you in a relationship now?
No.
Okay. So that's pretty interesting. Like that's like I saw you do an interview about going to Thailand to get a vagina.
Yeah.
Surgical.
Yeah.
Now that's got to be interesting, because it's like, how do you like? I'm like, I don't even know like where to go shop for like certain like I'm like, where do I get this like detergent or something? And it's like, I couldn't even imagine like going like online and be like, where do I go and go for shopping for vaginas?
Yeah.
Like how does that even like how do you got to do a lot of research? Like is it people helping you, like someone that's been through the surgery before?
I did a lot of research,
Yeah.
and I asked people that went to this certain doctor. I went to Thailand because they make the best vaginas.
That's what I hear. That's what you were saying. Yeah, they make the best vaginas in
Yeah.
Thailand. Yeah.
Really amazing work and doctors. And it's crazy because I was just talking about this in Vegas with Jade, that like I think vaginas are not cute. Like I'm not attracted to vaginas. Like,
Got it. Yeah.
But I had to shop for one.
They're all different. Yeah. Vaginas are all different.
Yeah.
Same
And
with penises. I mean, it's like, yeah.
I spent years looking at them and shopping, and then, I'm really happy with it.
Yeah. Well, that's good, because it's probably no like refund situation, right?
No, there's, there's no refund.
Yeah. Now, did you have an idea like what it was going to look like? Obviously, like maybe like going in, like did they show you? Did they bring out like a book of being like, we can do this, we can do that, we can do that?
No, they kind of just basically take what they have, and the way that Thailand does it is they basically completely start from scratch versus like just inserting something.
Right.
So your orgasm, all the feelings, and the way it looks and feels is just so real. Like I've dated guys. I used to date guys and not tell them, like, which I was stealth. So
Okay.
just for my safety.
How does that go over?
I mean, it ended in heartbreak.
Yeah.
So I stopped doing that.
Got
But I owned a restaurant in Sherman Oaks, and I was just like,
Oh, really?
I just felt like I needed to I just needed to live a normal life. So I pretended like I was cis, and I would date these guys. And anyway, they would go down on me for like, I'd date them for 6 months. They'd eat me out, whatever. And then I would tell them, and they'd be like, what? Like, am I gay now? And I'm like, no, like you didn't even know.
They
Like,
had no idea. They had no idea. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like you were sucking a dick. You were literally eating a pussy. So,
Right.
But I don't do that anymore.
But now you come forward and you tell them. Yeah.
Well, I'm very public.
Yeah. Well, of course. Yeah, you are.
yeah.
Yes.
But
before your fame to Vanderpump Rules and comedy and stuff, you didn't tell people. Yeah,
I didn't.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I didn't. I think because I was not fully accepting myself.
Right.
And I definitely attracted men who were like not okay with it.
Yeah.
Like completely falling in love with this one guy. And then I told him, I think after 8 months of dating, and he was like, wanted to kill me.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
he didn't.
crazy.
And like he came around
Yeah.
6 months later, he like hit me back. They always come back, hit you back up and want to date
Well,
again.
there's got to be a lot of like for men in general. I'd say like either they're questioning their sexuality, either they're like, am I gay, am I bi, or am I just into trans women? Like they're probably asking themselves like either what's going on with me and I don't know, and that's a therapy thing for those people. I would assume, but like it's probably a little bit of both. Like you're going through things, they're going through things, and then they're just kind of finding who they really are, maybe at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, also society, the pressure of
Yeah,
like society.
absolutely. Yeah,
That's hard for a guy.
society is like the number one villain out there with all this stuff. I would say because it's just like there's people that are very, very accepting and loving towards this, and then there's the people that are just haters, and the ugly people of society come out and they just start bad mouthing and whatever, and it's horrible that we have to live in a world that takes place, unfortunately. But every day's a struggle, and hopefully getting better towards this kind of stuff. I would assume.
Yeah, I think that's what's important about me doing what I'm doing. I broke a mirror recently, and someone's like, "Oh my God, that's 7 years bad luck," and I'm like, "I was born trans. Like, I was born with bad luck." And I think by going through these awful things that I've experienced in life, I'm here to pave the way and to be of service. And I think comedy is being of service as part of it.
Yeah. So what comedy kind of how long have you been doing comedy now?
Only a year.
Only a year.
It's crazy.
So you were on Vanderpump Rules, the hit reality show.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know much about Vanderpump Rules.
I love that.
Great. I do too. But I mean, I'm kind of in a crossfire with Vanderpump Rules people because a lot of my friends that are girls, they watch the show and they're like, "Oh my God, Vanderpump Rules, all this stuff," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know what it is, but I don't really." I know people. My neighbor is Carter. Do you know Carter, who dated Kristen?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So I knew him as my neighbor, and then people would come over and be like, "Oh my God, you know who that is?" I'm like, I have no fucking clue, And then they would tell me, and I'd be like, "Oh, okay," And then I don't know, But like, I live down the street from Vanderpump Dogs, Sir. You started as a host at Sir, is that correct?
Yeah, yeah. It's weird. I went from like owning a restaurant. I sold my restaurant, and then
What kind of restaurant did you have?
It was a cafe.
Cafe.
And then I traveled for a year, and then I started Vanderpump, but I was casted, so it wasn't like I went in and filled an application.
So is that how that
out.
works? Like pretty much like, because I know people that worked at Pump, like as a bartender, but they had like nothing to do with the show or anything like that. So like, they cast, and then they throw you in there as like a host or a server or something like that, and then it makes it look like,
I'm like, if I'm going to be doing this, can I at least be a server or like a manager? But like, they made me do host. I guess that was the storyline for that season. Yeah.
It's so interesting. Yeah. So you were on that show for a season. Was it season 6 or 7? What was it?
Yeah, season 6 and 7.
7. Okay.
I was on a 2-year contract, and I hated it.
You hated it.
And I'm like getting shit because I filmed again this season.
You're going back.
I'm not going back. I just filmed for my friend Tom and just helped him through a lot of mental health issues, and I just wanted to be there for him, and I was spending so much time with him, and then the cameras started back up, so it was weird for me to like just leave his life, because usually when my friends start back up filming the show, I'll like leave for a couple months. I won't like hang out with him as much.
Yeah. What is so I know this whole Scandival thing is a big deal. Again, I don't know much about it. I met Tom once at Tom like years ago, and someone had to explain to me who he was, and I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
So what is your take on the Scandival thing? I mean, is it like, are you who's the bigger asshole? Is it Tom, or is it Ariana, or is it Raquel? I mean, I don't know. Like, do you have an opinion on this that you want to state?
Oh God, I don't think Ariana's the asshole at all. I like love her and wish her the best always. I do just think that like the relationship became like a really toxic one.
Yeah.
And I feel like there was more of a separation and annoyance and frustration and anxiety and depression in the relationship than there was love.
Right.
And when that happens, it leads to horrible things if
Right.
you're going to stay in something like that. And sometimes we're just comfortable in those elements and we just stick with it. I think what Tom did was fucked up and what Raquel did. But
I mean, they got to know they're on this hit reality show, right? And they're public figures and they're dating certain people or whatever. So if there's any kind of straying or an affair or whatever, like that's going to come out eventually, right? Like they know it's going to blow up, I would assume. I mean, I think monogamy is hard enough as it is. I mean, it's like I'm divorced. I was in an open, situation for a while, and then it just kind of blew up. But I would say, like, if you're on a reality show, like, you got to know that's a pretty good chance of that leaking into the show at some point.
yeah, I don't know what they were thinking. I mean, now that after I found out, there was definitely some signs that I saw and I was like, oh, this makes sense.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, with them, they lived like such separate lives in a way.
Yeah.
That it was easy for him. But yeah, with the show, I don't know. And I don't watch it. So
You don't watch it anymore, yeah.
Oh, I
yeah.
didn't even watch it before.
Right.
And I hated watching it when I was on it because I had to.
Just then you
so-
had to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's got to be interesting. I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, you read all this stuff like online or whatever. Like, did you have an affair with Tom Sandoval?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. All right. Because that's something I read. So
Oh, yeah. No.
like, I know. There's all these like gossip things.
I thought you were
and
going
stuff.
somewhere else. But
No.
no.
I'm just. Look, I ask a couple hard questions. Just, I mean, not to make anyone feel uncomfortable, or whatever. But like, again, I don't know anything about this stuff, and I'm just trying. Like, I have a couple people that are like, oh my god, like you got to ask, this thing, that thing, and I'm like, all right, let me see about the Vanderpump Rules. But yeah, it just seems like I know Tom has his own podcast now. I saw that. So it seems like It seems like at the end of the day, no matter what the gossip tragedy is on these reality shows, everyone comes out on top of being able to utilize it in some way or some platform. Now Tom has a podcast, which everyone's going to listen to, and and they're going to be like Team Tom, Team Ariana, whatever, whatever their take is on it. And I mean, everyone's obsessed with this show though, and then all the cast members that are on it, like Andy Cohen is on, interviewing everyone all the time about this stuff, and I'm just like learning about like the show, and I'm like, oh, this is a huge deal, bigger than I ever thought. So
It was, definitely like.
yeah.
When I did decide to talk to him again, and I have mutual friends with him who now like manage his band and stuff, and they were like, Billy, he's in a really bad place. Like, we're afraid that we're gonna lose him. And so I finally like responded to him, and then it was like the second I did that, and it was the paparazzi saw that I was with him. It was like nonstop paparazzi following me for weeks on weeks.
So how did that make you feel? Paparazzi chasing you or taking photos of you and ending up online. That's something new for you, right? Like that's got to be a weird experience, I would imagine.
Yeah, well, I think the thing was just like the rumors, and there was so much hate coming at me on social media.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't really get that much transphobic hate when I was on the show, but because of the scandal and because people just automatically assumed, and there was previous rumors about us in the past when I was filming, but then to see me stay all night there and to see me there so much, people just
they just started speculating and spreading gossip because it's like these blogs and everyone feed off of, it's a reality show, so they're gonna write whatever they want, kind of.
Right, but people don't understand. It's like Tom and Ariana was like my family, so whenever the cameras are down, which is like.
A lot of the time.
Yeah, most of the time.
Because a lot of this stuff is scripted, obviously, right?
Well, we only film 3 months out of the year.
Yeah.
So the rest of the time, like, I'm with them all the time. Like, we do our holidays together every year. Like, we travel together.
That's nice. Yeah.
And we used to call, like, Tom, like, Dad. Like, he just is that kind of person that always tries to take care of people. And when I thought, like, I knew that he was in such a low place, I didn't give a fuck what people thought. I just was like, I need to make sure that my friend is okay, because he would do the same for me.
Right. It's got to be hard when you are close with someone and have a close friendship with them, and then all of a sudden they're a public figure, and then something goes awry, whether it be a cheating dating thing, which isn't the end of the world. It sucks, but then there's the people that get accused of a crime or Me Too'd or whatever, and then they're like like the whole Danny Masterson thing, whatever, and then Ashton and what Mila Kunis gets shit for and it's like, I'm not saying that Masterson, obviously he's in jail for a reason, most likely, and that's on him. But yeah, they're the two of them are like, I've known him since he was a kid, so it's like there's certain people that they have either a different side to them behind closed doors, or a version of this person and the rest of the world doesn't. So I would imagine that's tough. Like, yeah, like backing your friend Tom in a hard time, and then other people just talking about it. Like, were you reading stuff online about you and him, or just you in general? How did that make you feel? Like, this is something new that you're just having people like blast you on, social media or whatever?
Yeah. I mean, it was social media that is what I didn't really read the tabloids. I don't read like.
That's good, though, I think. It's healthy.
Yeah, I definitely have boundaries when it comes to the public. But it was really the paparazzi and the TMZ like bombarding me with questions.
Yeah.
They're always constantly asking me if I'm sleeping with him or like what's going on. But besides that, like, yeah, I had to like, you can go on Instagram and you can type in keywords and block those keywords.
Oh, you can?
Like, I have so many restrictions. Like, people can't even at me. They can't say certain words on my platforms.
That's good that you can do that. I didn't realize that was a thing.
Yeah, it kind of makes it boring, but I'm okay with that. I love boring.
Yeah, boring's good. Boring. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. As I get older, I'm like, you know what? Boring.
Oh my God.
Boring is not just sitting home watching, whatever. Yeah, that's boring. Is my new life. That's what it is. I mean, that's all. I mean, again, like the Sandoval. I went to Sir once, I think, and like it was only because my friend was like, "Let's grab a drink there," because she was obsessed with the show, and I was like, "All right, it's whatever. It is what it is." So coming off of Vanderpump, then you decide to do stand up.
So I am after Vanderpump, I started producing a lot of projects and writing, and I got a book deal, and then I sold a half-hour comedy to ABC.
That's awesome.
This was before the writer's strike,
right.
And
was like a sitcom or like a stand up thing.
No, a sitcom, like a half-hour single camera comedy.
That's awesome. That stuff needs to come back.
I know.
Yeah.
And it was called Dairy Queen, and it was about me going back home and taking over my family's dairy farm, and I'm vegan, and I fall in love with my childhood best friend, which that's true.
Dairy Queen, I love that name.
So I just. My team was like, hey, if you're going to be writing and starring in a half-hour comedy, you should probably learn more about comedy.
Yeah.
And I took a class, Pretty Funny Woman, and Lisa, the teacher, was like, yo, you really have something. It's very natural for you, and your point of view is really important. She's like, I want to offer you a free scholarship to keep on coming back.
That's awesome.
And at the same time, I went into acting class, and my teacher also at Playhouse West was like, blown away by me, and he's like, I want to give you free tuition. I was like, so I'm getting all of these opportunities for free.
I mean, now because like struggling actors can't pay that stuff usually, and like
I know I probably shouldn't have said that publicly, that he like gave me free classes, but so
they believe in you. I mean, that's on them. That makes their school look good. Playhouse West, that's like Jeff Goldblum, isn't it?
Yeah. So my thing is like I wasn't expecting to do stand up.
Right.
It just happened, and then I did a couple of shows, and I just kept getting booked more and more, and now I feel like I jumped on this train and I like won't stop.
That's good though. Now, are you doing how do you write your material? I know every comedian has their own style and stuff like that, based on a lot of real situations in your life, I'm imagining. Do you do like opinionated stuff, or more like topical, or anything like that?
Well, I usually am like hanging out with my friends, and I'll think of something really funny, or we'll like think of something, and then I will write it down. And what I do is I collect all of these thoughts, and then I like have writing sessions with my coaches, and we will write it together, and then they will coach me on it, and then I will practice it a lot and then perform it.
That's great. Yeah.
So I'm definitely not like the person who just, like crowd work, you can just be really funny all the time.
Yeah,
like, I'm not there yet.
That takes time. I mean, I've been doing stand up about 7.5 years now, and that's always a muscle you need to exercise every time you get the opportunity. Hosting's good for that, though. But yeah, it's like it takes time to figure it out. And every crowd's different. You never know what you're going to get, really, at these shows and stuff. So, I mean, getting out of LA is definitely a good, like, boot camp, I would say, for stand-up. Just trying to see the different types of crowds, the different reactions to some of your material, that kind of stuff. So, I mean, yeah, I would say definitely take as many opportunities of that you can do. I would say that'd be awesome. Yeah. What was it? So, but going back to purchasing a vagina in Thailand. What does something like that set you back?
Oh, I think I had around $80,000 to do all my surgeries.
Okay.
In Thailand, it actually is cheaper, even though it's
sure.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's interesting in Thailand, but we live in Beverly Hills pretty much. So it's like they haven't mastered this yet. You know, we're like the king of plastic surgery, I'd say, right?
Beverly Hills is like so great for the face, the body, and the boobs.
Yeah.
Which is, I did all my surgery besides my vagina in Beverly Hills.
Oh, okay.
And Dr. Gavami, he is like literally the best of the best. He does the Kardashians. So that was the most expensive part.
Right.
Yeah.
Does insurance cover this kind of thing?
I think it does now.
Really?
It didn't when I did it.
It should, yeah.
Yeah, but I think
Definitely.
in California, like certain states, it does. But it's also like, you know, I don't know. It's a little risky because it's like certain doctors and you don't even see some of their work is what I've heard.
Yeah.
But
it's hard to like base off of like, I would imagine like how many procedures have you done, you know, as a surgeon, you know, and like, yeah, like, can I see your work? Like, how do you, like, is there a portfolio? Like,
no, I'm so blessed that I got to literally go to the best of the best around the world. So
that's cool. That's Thailand. Yeah. Who'd have thought? I mean, it makes sense. I don't know. Like Thailand, why not? Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's some amazing doctors there. Yeah. All right. What else was I going to ask you? So did you left the reality show or were you fired from it?
Okay, so it's kind of like both, I guess.
Yeah.
So you have your meeting after your contracts,
right?
And you're like, what do you want to do? What do you want your storyline to be? What would happen if we followed you?
So you can kind of like help write whatever you're gonna do, maybe.
Well, yeah, because before every season, they have like a production call and they say, what are you doing? Who you hang out with? What's happening?
Right.
Which is one reason why I did film this season because Tom was with me a lot and I was with him. So when my contract was up, I had a meeting and I had like all of these just amazing things happening. And I had like all of this stuff going on. And I ended up having a full team of people, agents, and I was with Gersh. And
that's great.
Things were just like going crazy for me. And in my meeting, I say all this stuff and they're like, oh, and they're like, well, what's happening between you and Tom?
So they want to know, like off, like in your private lives, they're wondering like what is going on? Can we capture some of this or what?
If I sit down on the couch in that room and I said, Tom and I are having an affair, or I am madly in love with Tom,
right? What's
going to happen is they're going to be like, oh, of course, here's a new contract. But if I'm not feeding into what the rumors are and I'm not giving them what they want because that's not true, then that's not. So
that's not true. And then like, do you guys have like a conversation, like you and Tom or whoever, Ariana, like, oh, we could come up with this storyline and say like Billie is having an affair with Tom or anything like that. Like you guys are trying to play it as honest as possible, obviously, because you have your private lives to live. And then there's the reality version of, you know, what's going on.
Tom and I are really close.
Yeah.
We do hang out a lot. And there were rumors that we would go off and together and do something. We would go off and like smoke a cigarette and then we'd end up talking for like 45 minutes.
And that's great. That's a great friend to have.
He's a Midwest boy. He literally just reminds me of home. And it's also really important for me. Like on that show, I did not have a lot of cis hetero men that were my allies.
Yeah.
And he was. And as a trans person, you don't get a lot of those. And so when I do have someone like him who is comfortable with his sexuality, who is just like such a confident, positive person, and they're vouching for me, going around talking about me in a positive way, and really being a friend for me, and also being like, do you need your rent paid? Do you need this? Like, what can I do to help you?
He's just there for you.
He's 100% there for me. So I will always return that back to him. And by that, both people think that we were having an affair.
And that's ridiculous. Like you can't just have a friend, you know. That's
no. Every guy I've ever been hanging out with, everyone just assumes. I
Isn't
think
that
that's
crazy?
Society too.
Isn't society nuts? Where it's like even if I go hang out with like a woman or something, everyone's like, oh my god, are you guys dating? Or what are you doing? What are you doing? And it's like, dude, that's just my friend. You know, like what do you want me to say? Like do you have to make a public announcement like, oh, I'm sleeping with this person, or like we're just hanging out, or like no, we are in a serious relationship. Everyone, it's like. I can't imagine it's like I don't have any following, so it's like I don't have to deal with that. But it's like even this like Taylor Swift shit that's going on. It's like that's even if they are interested, it's like I feel like it's already ruined by like everyone that's out there. It's like how do they have a normal relationship if they want to have one with all this media coverage? You know, it's crazy.
No, they can't.
It'll ruin it. It'll ruin it at the end of the day. I think
Yeah.
So it is hard. Like if you enter a relationship or whatever, and all of a sudden, especially if the person is not famous, I would say like they have to be accepting almost to be like, you're going to be in the public eye if we start going out or whatever, and get used to reading gossip columns about us, and you know what I mean. So if someone that's not used to that at all, like that could definitely be like a hard thing to cope with, I would imagine.
Oh, of course, yeah. And like to go back to Evolution, which is a production company that produces Vanderpump. We weren't aligned to like what I wanted to do. And also they like to keep, especially when I was working, like for instance, having me a host, like who goes from owning a restaurant and like being really successful to like hosting a restaurant.
Did you talk about owning your own restaurant on the show?
No, but
so
they want you to look like I just went in and filled out an application.
You just got off the bus, you arrived in LA, and you got a job hosting it. So
like when my career is like taking off, and they wanted me to be smaller, and then also my storyline would be a home wrecking whore, like Raquel or Rachel.
Right.
Like, no, that's not what I want. And thank God I started reality television in my 30s, because that girl was in her 20s. Like, I can't imagine what I would have done in my 20s. I would have probably fucked up everything.
Yeah, I could say like going into a reality show at an older age definitely puts things into perspective as far as how they work and stuff. Like I've been watching the Golden Bachelor, and I'm like, this is like I never watched the regular Bachelor, but I'm like, this is interesting to me because these people are seasoned, they've been through life, they're divorced or widowed or widower or whatever, and it's like it's almost like, oh yeah, these people have their shit together, like some of these other people are just like hot messes, I would say,
Yeah. How is that show?
I mean, I think it's entertaining, I think, because it's like, I mean, it's old people, looking for love again or whatever. So it's, it's like The Bachelor, but it's just senior citizens. So it's like, it's a little more, I don't really watch The Bachelor. So like I said, like this is kind of, it's funny. There's definitely some wild characters on it and stuff like that. But, it's like, good for the guy, good for the women trying to, find love again in their 70s and 80s or whatever.
Yeah, no, I've definitely been offered some like dating reality shows. Yeah. And I'm just like, absolutely not.
No, you don't want to do that?
I think dating life should be personal for me personally. Like,
there's like 90 Day Fiance. There's all these crazy things. And it's like, I don't know. I get it because it's like there are people, especially as comedians. Like if you get on a reality show, like you can definitely do a lot with it. I think depending on if you're smart enough, which you obviously are. You can propel to like whatever you want it to be. You control your narrative. And that's kind of great. I think as a performer, you have opportunities to do different things with it.
Yeah, I mean, I started very late. I'm in my like late 30s, and I did not know that I had any type of talent until like a year or two ago. And that was when I started going to acting class and started going to comedy. And now I've completely fallen in love with acting and comedy. And my goal is to be able to use those talents. And
so where do you see, so you're loving the acting, you're loving stand-up, obviously. Where do you see yourself in like, 2 years? Do you see yourself on this sitcom that you pitched or sold?
Well, that kind of died before, it happened because of the writer's strike.
Right.
So that's still with 20th Century, which is the studio for ABC and Disney. So I don't know exactly where that's going to go yet. But I do have an amazing couple opportunities for a Christmas film that I'm co-writing, producing, and starring in.
That's awesome. Christmas film.
I know, Christmas
movie.
That. It's so cute. I literally just read the script while I was in Vegas, and I like laughed and cried. It was so amazing.
I mean, who doesn't love a Christmas movie?
I know.
Right?
It's so cute. And we need like a trans woman.
We do need a trans Christmas movie. Yeah.
And also I want to be that rom-com girl in the movies.
Absolutely. So you see yourself starring in, motion pictures or TV.
Yeah.
That's great. That's awesome. Yeah. And it's like, the opportunities like at your door, I would say, because it's like like you said, we do need like a Christmas movie that tackles that kind of subject and everything. I think it'd be awesome. Like just different things to watch. Like different perspectives, different lives of people.
Yeah, because it's not all different types of people can fall in love and have romance. And I think it's important for me to show that trans people are worthy of love and romance as much as cis people are. So yeah, I'm really excited. I am always like chilling in gratitude because there's so many amazing opportunities happening right now.
Yeah, and that's awesome. And it sounds like you're on the right track to just get some of this stuff produced and done. And that's awesome. Yeah. Now, so I'm going to get into, this is the I'm a Basshole show.
Yeah.
And you come on the show, we ask the people come on and talk about a time in their life that they were a basshole, an asshole. It could be, when you were a kid, when you could be one right now and you're proud of it, anything along those lines that you'd like to share with the audience.
I will say because of the environment that I grew up in and my parents, and there was a lot of fighting and just craziness and alcohol and stuff, it was really easy for me to be an asshole. And when I went through my transition, I also went through a spiritual transition, and I really worked hard on changing my perception from fear to love, which is a miracle. Anyone out there should read A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson. It's so good. But I did a lot of ayahuasca ceremonies.
Wow.
And I'm just saying all this because
I hear that's intense as fuck.
It's so intense. Like one of the hardest things I've ever done.
Really?
And I have a man-made vagina, so it was very intense.
I hear when you do that, you have to have like someone that you trust like next to you, right? Like
I had a shaman.
Shaman, yeah.
It was ceremonies.
Yeah.
So it was a shaman, a doctor, and like other people in the circle and music and
wow.
Yeah, it was my first one was.
I don't think I'd be able to do that. I would freak the fuck out somehow, I think.
I will tell you though, like it's like 20 years of therapy in one night. So
Really?
I would not be who I am today and probably be here if it wasn't for ayahuasca.
Well, that's great.
So I'm saying all that because I was a crazy person and a very mean asshole when I was young.
Okay. But like
not anymore.
how old would you say?
Probably 16 to 23 or 4.
That's prime asshole age, I would say, a teenager, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I dated a guy who was my first relationship, and he could only get off once a day, and which is fine. Like that's
once a day.
Once a day is fine. That's
Same
cool.
age as you, 16-ish?
He was like 4 years older than me.
4, okay, so
3 or
20,
4.
20.
I was like in high
Once
school.
a day.
He was in college.
That's like prime time for getting off. 20.
Yeah. Well, I could get off like 3 times a day. But anyway, he was like 1 time a day. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. But he would sometimes use that 1 time a day and masturbate.
Oh.
And so like maybe he didn't plan to hang out with me, but then we would hang out and then like I'd be like wanting to have sex and he'd be like, oh, like he couldn't get off. And then I internalized.
Would he tell you
like,
that?
it was
Like,
me.
hey, I already jerked off today. Sorry.
At first he didn't.
He didn't. Yeah.
At first he didn't.
And
But
then
then I found out, yeah.
Right. You slowly started to discover that he was blowing his load before he saw you.
Yes.
Right.
So I'm an anxious attachment style. And so especially back then I was really anxious. So I started policing his masturbation. And
Policing?
Policing. Like
Wow.
literally I checked his sheets like it was the forensic files.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you have like
his
a
sock
black
drawer.
light or something like that?
No, you can just like, like what is it?
You
Lube
could
back
just
in the
tell.
day. I don't
Yeah.
use lube anymore, but like it's like a, I don't know, this watery lube that a lot of people use for ass play. I use coconut oil now, so like
Coconut,
that's,
yeah, I heard
coconut
coconut.
oil is amazing.
It's organic, yeah.
Yeah. But so you could just see, and like I also marked his lotion bottles. So
Oh,
I would-
like he's sneaking liquor out of his like parents' cabinet,
Yeah.
like measuring it out. Yeah.
And then this is like so gonna age me, but it was, I mean, there was still online like porn, but it was, he had a VHS porn collection.
Yeah, I
like,
had
that was
those,
like his
VHS.
secret. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would mark them to see if he played it or rewinded it.
Wait, how did you do that? Like,
Because you can see like the
the width of the tape.
yeah,
So you would like put like a marker if it was like
because you can see the
oh,
two
yeah.
things. If it's clear.
Yeah.
Like,
Wow, that's
I was
intense.
psycho. Like, and I would get mad at him, and if he did not like, I would even like. Okay, so I like playing with like soft dick. Like if I'm just like laying on the couch with my boyfriend,
Soft dick.
no, I would just like play with his dick when we're watching a movie.
Right.
Like I don't know. it's there. I'm gonna play with it.
Yeah, why
I
not?
loved it. So I literally was playing with it one time, and it felt like slimy or whatever. Like like he like lotion, like there was lotion in it. So I smelled it, and it was my cucumber melon lotion that he used.
So you knew that he was into your lotion to. Yeah.
Yeah, he used my lotion because I wasn't marking them, obviously.
Right.
And I was so pissed off. And yeah, I would just punish him in the most fucked up ways. And even just policing someone with their masturbation is crazy. And
that is interesting because it's like I've never been with anyone who's like policed me or whatever like that. But I've heard people like I don't know, like I knew someone that like did not trust their significant other at all, and like when he would come home, they'd be like, "Let me smell your dick," or something like crazy like that. And I'd be like, "Wait, what?" They said, "Smell your dick," and they'd be like, "Yeah." She'd be like, "I want to smell your dick. Like I can tell if your dick was in some pussy or some shit, And it's like that's extreme. Like you got to like think about taking a shower or like I don't know. Like it's like wow. Yeah. I'm like wow. That's like I don't want to be in that situation. But
yeah,
that's a trust issue when it comes to that.
Literally, it was a trust issue, and he wasn't even cheating. I just was like,
it was just the masturbation. He was wasting his masturbation.
Exactly,
wasting it off, not on you.
Yeah. And you know what's weird is like years later, this is probably a couple years ago, he texted me and said, "I just want you to know that was the greatest love I ever had." And I'm like, okay, first of all, I'm a woman now, and second of all, like what? I was psycho, but I also I'm such a lover, and like I really, really love hard. And so I'm just saying that because I was an asshole to him and I did fucked up things, but I was also still the greatest love he had.
Well, that says something,
So far.
That says something because it's like, so if you get in a relationship and you're in love, you love hard is what you're saying. Like you are like 120% into it.
I'm a lover and a pleaser. So for me, even the masturbating thing was like, because, okay, this sounds crazy. I'm going to get so much shit for this, but.
Go ahead. This is the place to do it.
While I am pleasing my man, like I'm so into it and I love pleasing. It's like, this is my king. I'm going to please him. I literally feel like I was sent on planet planet Earth to do this. Like in that moment, like that's what I feel. I'm just such a pleaser. And
you felt like you were brought onto this earth to please him. Or please,
I mean, any man that I'm like in love with.
Any man you're in love with, you feel like you are here for that reason at that moment.
Yeah. Like I fully do. And so like I think that's why I was like, I really take it seriously, obviously.
Right,
so I think that's why I was offended that he would want to use his hand.
Yeah.
But I get like,
now, are you like, what if he wants to like, if he was open about it, like, hey, like, babe, I want to masturbate or whatever, like, and then, or you do it together or whatever, I don't know, whatever. Like if he was open about it, like, I need to masturbate at least twice a day. But the fact that he couldn't, go again later on for you or whatever, that's the problem. You're all about the masturbation, obviously, but still have enough for later. Yeah.
Yeah. And I hate this word, but I was a horny teenager. So like,
right.
That was the thing. But I do get like, I mean, maybe he was like wanting to, he's attracted to like other people besides me. So maybe he was like, oh, I'm like in the mood to like, see like a big, huge bear guy. And like, I don't know like what his thing was.
What his thing was. Yeah.
He just obviously wanted something a little
Do you
different.
believe in monogamy?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, as much self-work I've done in my life, I still could easily get jealous if my man was like sleeping with other people.
Yeah.
I don't know. When I'm intimate with someone, it's kind of sacred to me. Like, I don't know. It just, it would be so kind of hard for me, I guess.
No, that makes total sense. I mean, I believe in it if you're right with the right person. Yeah. I mean, obviously you can make it work. I mean, are there urges and is there jealousy with any of it? Sure. But jealousy is healthy, here and there, I think, not to say is like you can play out fantasies or whatever, in different scenarios with your partner or whatever. But yeah, I'll say monogamy, it can be hard, but if it's not hard, then you're with the right person, I would say, like.
Yeah. And if I'm in a relationship for 10 years and there's a situation, like I will try my best to be open-minded and allow that to happen. I mean, I remember like I dated someone who was kind of like bi and like interested in dudes. I'm not a dude. So I was like, I guess like you could come, like the guy could come and fuck you, I guess. And like, I mean, I was madly in love with this dude. So I like didn't want to like lose him because he was interested in a dude.
So you were open-minded enough to be like, I'll try this or let you try that or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I didn't have a dick, so that's why I was like, okay. But like, if he was like, oh, I just want another pussy, that's a little bit harder for me.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah, especially when mine's really tight. So it's like, why would you even do that?
Yeah, I mean, you went to Thailand for your pussy.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Literally.
Oh my god. Yeah, exactly. It's like you don't need to go to Thailand at all ever again to go over there and do what they might be doing over there in Thailand. You know, I don't know.
No, well, it's also like, look what I created for you. Why would you go anywhere else?
Yeah, like you brought the Thai over here or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. That's probably the wrong thing to say, but whatever. The good thing about this show is that we're already canceling ourselves by calling ourselves assholes. So
No,
I'm always
totally.
I'm like, all right. So you police this guy's masturbation. That's kind of it's definitely an asshole thing, kind of, right? Like, would you do that now? You think?
No.
No?
Oh my God. Like,
No,
I mean,
unless you ran into the same situation, which is probably not likely.
yeah, if my dude's like, oh, like, I mean, I dated some guy and he was like, we're like hooking up after watching a movie or something. And he's like, I did masturbate earlier today because I didn't know we were going to hang out. But we still did it and he still ended up getting off.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, that's the thing that confuses me because it's like there's the old like, oh, you're going on a date, like masturbate before you go on the date. That way you don't fucking last a minute or whatever. It's like I've done that before. You know what I mean? Like I'm probably gonna get laid tonight. I should jerk off like 5 hours before I go on this date or whatever. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of people that are guilty of that, and that helps, I think, for me at least or whatever. That way you can, especially if it's a new partner or something. But I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
okay, but if you masturbate before,
Yeah.
like you can still get up and get off, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so my first boyfriend, the problem was he would like
He wouldn't,
It was
yeah.
hard for him to get hard,
Right.
And he wouldn't get off.
He wouldn't get off. Yeah.
And so that just made me feel like insecure.
Yeah, of sure. Yeah, of course, definitely. I mean, I could see. Yeah, well, that's the other thing. It's like, yeah, if a guy can't get hard or get off, a woman usually does feel insecure, I'd say, and not that that's their fault. It could be, the guy, obviously, or it's or it's a situation where it's like, but being a young person, like your guy at the time, like you would think, like, I mean, my 20-year-old, you're fucking multiple times a day or jerking off 5 times a day, or like there's be times that's all you can do. You can't even fucking concentrate on school or work or whatever. It's like, it's like.
So I can't imagine like what his life is now. I don't even want to go there.
No, I get it. Well, that's definitely an asshole thing to do. But it's like, again, it's like I think we all grow from these experiences and learn, and policing masturbation. If there was a masturbation police, you could have had like a career in that, maybe.
Oh my God, 100% for sure. Like
You're just knocking on people's doors, like, "Hey, masturbation police is here."
yeah,
People covering up their dicks like really quick, like, "Oh shit, we got caught again."
Yeah, even my friends at the time like was like, "Whoa, you're really intense on this." Like
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting, it's something that, I don't know, masturbation is such a taboo topic in a lot of families or places and stuff like that. But, I think it's obviously it should be talked about more because everyone's doing it. And, especially if there was a masturbation police out there regulating it somehow, that would be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely I date and I try. I don't know.
How do you meet people? Are you on apps or do you just meet people in real life?
I'm not on apps. I do meet people in real life. I feel like I get like, even if at the grocery store or if I'm hiking or something,
because LA is a tough town to date. Do you find that?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is like, I mean, even comedy, it's weird because like, I feel like, going up and talking about my story would maybe like make guys feel weird, but I get hit on so much more now than I did before. But I'll like start to date some guy and I'm so busy that I won't respond, and I'm really bad at like responding to text messages that I just feel like I'm constantly disappointing dudes when I date them.
Do people do you guys know who you are, or do you find a lot of people that are like have no clue who you are?
Well, especially like the last few comedians that I've dated,
That's the first mistake,
known.
dating comedian.
Everyone says that. Like literally everyone says that.
It's fine. I mean, I think you should have fun with them for sure. But like, I don't know. I haven't dated a comedian yet, so I don't know.
I don't understand what's wrong with dating a comedian.
Nothing, I don't think. I mean, I think I think it's it's a stereotype. So it's like I think it's great if you both are like in it and you can make each other laugh and you can do shows together and and it works. Obviously, that's the most important thing.
I guess people like I've heard some girls be like, oh, when they're on the road, and
that's when they start cheating on you or something. Yeah,
I guess, but I would try not to like date a cheater. Like I don't think all comedians are cheaters.
No,
like,
definitely not. Yeah.
And I love to laugh, and I love guys that are like goofy and fun and stuff like that. So, and also that's where I'm at every day is like a club or doing something. Well,
exactly. It's like it's natural to either hook up with one eventually or end up dating one. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, I think it makes sense because like especially if you're on the road a lot and you can kind of figure out a way to do it together. Like a comedian will understand your schedule, your lifestyle.
Yeah.
And that's about it. Like other than that, like you got to have a very understanding partner that's going to be like, oh, you're not home every night. You're working, or you're on the road, or this show comes first, over a New Year's Eve thing or whatever. So it's like you got to have a pretty understanding partner. So yeah, a comedian might be the way to go maybe, because they understand it.
Yeah, comedian or actor. As someone in the entertainment industry, I think it's important. I do want to have a family, so
your kids, yeah.
I'm actually starting the process to have a baby.
That's awesome. How many kids do you want?
I mean, if I can have a house full of kids,
a house full.
I mean,
I
say that, but I don't have one. So like,
I'm just picturing like a farmhouse with 20 kids like sticking their heads
20,
out the window.
Like 5 max.
Five
max,
kids.
max.
That's a lot. 5.
But, I mean, I'm saying that now and I don't have one, so that could change.
I could do 1 maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have like 3 dogs, so
you do?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not here right now, but
okay.
Well, I had 2.
I love dogs.
I had 2, and then I fostered 1 recently, and now I'm gonna adopt him next week. So foster fail, that's me. But I work with dogs too. So
okay, I need to meet them because I'm literally the most famous dog walker you will ever meet.
You are?
Not
Wait
dog walker, sorry, dog sitter. Like
you are?
I dog sit for all of my friends because I love dogs so much.
Did you know that I'm a dog sitter?
What?
I have a dog walking boarding business that I've had for 16 years here in LA. I don't think we haven't talked to you about that. Yeah.
No.
It's called Dogs Dig Doug.
What?
Yeah. I've been doing it a long
so
time,
cool.
and that's my day job pretty much. Yeah, and I got some celebrity people too. So maybe we're both fancy ass dog walkers. I don't know. We'll have to talk about that.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with dog sitting. Like
well, that's good to know
so
because sometimes I look for I'm like, hey, I got to go out of town, and if someone's around, sometimes we swap and all that stuff. That's awesome though. Yeah, do you have a dog? You have a dog?
I don't. That's why I dog sit so much. I had dogs my whole life, but my 2 passed away from old age in 2020. Isn't that crazy that I lost dogs?
That's when everyone got a dog. Yeah.
I know. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to have any more dogs. I'm just going to, because I used to dog sit for like executives and people back in the day.
Yeah.
And they still hit me up like, hey, and I'm obviously friendly with them. And I'm like the godmother to so many dogs in LA. So I do it when I can, but now life is so crazy.
I mean, I'm a sucker. It's like I have, I've had a 15-year-old Shih Tzu.
Shih Tzus are my favorite dog.
Named Waffles. I'll show them. They're next door. I'll show them to you when we're doing this. But I've had him for 15 years, and then I have another dog that I adopted with my ex-wife, and I have her. Her name's Penny. She's like a border collie pit mix. And then this other one I'm fostering looks exactly like Waffles, the Shih Tzu mix. And I'm gonna end up adopting him next week because he just looks like my other dog. And I'm like, oh my god, what? Like my friend sent him to me, and I was like, you realize I'm gonna end up keeping his dog because it looks exactly like my other dog. I'm like, you assholes. I'm like, now I'm gonna be that single guy with 3 dogs now. Thank you. Yeah. So.
My favorite videos on like social media is like the transformation of dogs getting adopted or like the foster fails. Like I can watch those every day.
Yeah, I'm gonna make one of those next week.
You need to.
I know, right?
Yeah,
it'll be a big deal. Big celebration. Yeah, exactly. Oh my god, dogs are great.
So you're not an asshole, obviously.
I'm not. I just have a show that has asshole themes. So I mean, I definitely have my asshole stories like everyone. That's what I mean. That's why I thought this show was so relatable for a lot of people just to come on, and we started with the podcast, and then we did the live show version, and it's a lot of fun. You had fun on the live show, right?
Yeah, I did. I had a lot of fun. Like I told a few of my friends, I was like, oh my god, you have to do the show. It's so much fun.
Well, I was going to ask you, like, is there someone that you would want to nominate to be on the podcast or the show, like I don't know, someone you think that's worthy of a basshole story.
Yeah, my best friend in the comedy world, Sammy Weiser, she's so funny, such a stoner. And we're actually starting a podcast together called Billie and the Kid because
you don't
she's
have
a
one
kid.
yet, right?
I don't, yeah.
I figured that I was looking you up and I was like, I don't know if she has one yet.
Yeah, the same people that are producing Tom's is producing mine.
Oh,
and
awesome.
Sammy's gonna be my co-host, and because she's only 25 and I'm not, so Billie and the Kid is what it's called.
That's a great name. You got great names for your projects. Billie and the Kid, Dairy Queen. I love that.
Yeah, thank you. But she used to be like the meanest person as a teenager too, and like her mom has told me stories.
What's her name?
Sammy Weiser.
Sammy Weiser. All right,
Yeah.
we'll have her on for sure.
Yeah, you'll have her on because she's so good. She hosts a lot of shows. She's brilliant. She's been doing comedy since she was like 5.
Oh, that's awesome.
I know.
Yeah, I'm surprised I haven't met her yet. That's awesome.
Yeah, you'll meet her. You'll love her.
Very cool. Well, I want to thank you for coming on the show. Thanks for coming into the studio and doing this. What are your next projects coming? You got the podcast coming out eventually, and stand-up shows that are coming up.
Yeah, I'm gonna be going to Indianapolis on the 22nd. I'm going to New York, and then I have some tour dates, and then I have a really big tour in the spring of 2024, comedy tour, and then my book will be out in May.
Awesome. What's the book?
Why Are You So Sensitive?
Why Are You So Sensitive?
And it's about microaggressions.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It's cool.
Well, you had a great basshole story, and I want to thank you for coming on the show and sharing yourself with us in the crowd and getting to know you a little bit. You came in here today and you redeemed yourself. People come in here and they're like, oh, I don't really know what to say. I wasn't an asshole, but I might have been one time. So I want to thank you for just playing along with us. And you're no longer a basshole. You can go in peace. You've redeemed yourself by coming on the show today. That's everyone applauding you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Well, Billie Lee, you guys, make sure you follow Billie Lee at It's Me Billie Lee. Is that it?
Yeah.
It's Me Billie Lee on Instagram and all the platforms. You can check out her book coming out soon, her podcast, and stand-up shows all over LA and all over the country pretty much coming up soon. New York and Indianapolis and whatnot. Billie, thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, you guys. Remember, don't be a basshole, but if you are, laugh about it. Ciao.
You've been listening to I'm a Basshole with Doug Bass. Follow us on Instagram at Basshole Show. Think you deserve to be on the show? Email us at contact@bassholeshow.com and visit our website at www.bassholeshow.com and get the latest information. Subscribe on Spotify or wherever you get your podcast fix. And don't miss the full videos on YouTube. Remember, don't be a basshole, but if you are, laugh about it. We'll see you next time.